Ever catch yourself wondering, like, who actually trains the people who train us? It's like this whole hidden world of, educational puppet masters
Right.
shaping minds from the shadows.
Yeah.
Well, today we're bringing them into the light.
Yeah.
We're going deep on education studies lecturers.
Mm-hmm.
These are the folks who shape young minds. And to guide our deep dive, we're using insights from RoleCatcher.
Oh, cool.
Have you heard of this?
I haven't. No.
It's this gold mine of career info.
Okay.
And let me tell you, their take on education studies lectures, way more interesting than I expected.
Really?
Like right off the bat, they throw you for a loop.
Okay.
They've got this whole profile of a lecturer in rural Alaska.
Oh.
And get this lecturer is leading a workshop
Mm-hmm.
on building igloos as teaching tools for cultural understanding.
Wow.
Igloos.
That's amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
Not just textbooks and theories, but like bringing education to life.
Exactly. And that's just one example. RoleCatcher paints this picture of a lecturer's world that is anything but boring.
So no like dusty old lecture halls.
Hardly. Think research labs, curriculum development meetings, even publishing cutting-edge research.
Wow. So they're not just teaching teachers, they're shaping the field.
Exactly.
Okay, so big picture stuff, we get it. But what about the day-to-day? What's it actually like to be an education studies lecturer?
Well, imagine juggling a research project on, say, the impact of virtual reality in the classroom, while also mentoring a first-year teacher who's trying to wrangle a room full of, like, 7-year-olds.
Oh my gosh. That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It's definitely not for the faint of heart. It takes a special kind of person, someone with endless patience, a real passion for nurturing young minds.
Yeah.
And according to RoleCatcher, a healthy dose of something they call social perceptiveness.
Social perceptiveness. What's that like being able to read a room?
Exactly. Remember, these lecturers aren't just teaching facts and figures, they're teaching teachers how to teach.
Right.
They need to be masters of reading those subtle cues that can make or break a lesson.
Oh man, that reminds me of this one time I totally bombed a presentation because I like totally missed the audience's body language.
Oof, we've all been there.
It's like even as adults, we're all still learning how to learn.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. And those soft skills you mentioned, they're becoming more and more crucial in this field that's constantly evolving.
So it's not just about keeping up with the latest textbook. It's like new teaching methods, new technologies, maybe even new ways of thinking about thinking.
You got it. That's what makes this career path so exciting, but also pretty demanding.
Right.
You're constantly learning, adapting, pushing boundaries. It's really about embracing all the new possibilities in the world of education.
Okay, so we've established these folks are like the superheroes of pedagogy. But what about the actual skills they need to, make it all happen? RoleCatcher had some interesting insights on that.
Yeah, definitely. And some of them might surprise you. Obviously, strong reading comprehension, writing, and speaking skills are a given. I mean, these are educators, right? But I was really intrigued by the emphasis on things like critical thinking, problem solving, and even a little bit of creativity. It's like they're taking all those like core academic skills, and then they like add on this whole other layer of, being able to really analyze information and come up with new solutions, think outside the box.
Yeah, like training the next generation of like educational rock stars or something. But okay, so we've talked about the skills, but what about the actual career path?
Yeah.
Does RoleCatcher talk about like how you actually become an education studies lecturer?
They do. They lay out this whole typical progression, starting with roles like teaching assistant, then moving up to instructor, and eventually you reach the top of the mountain.
Like lecturer leagues.
Exactly. And with every step, you get more responsibility and more leadership opportunities.
So it's like climbing the ladder, but in a way that actually like makes a difference in the real world.
Right. And RoleCatcher, they actually bring it to life, with these really cool profiles. Like they highlight this one woman who started as a teaching assistant, right? She was also getting her teaching certification. But anyway, she realizes she's got this like real talent for creating online curriculum.
Oh, wow.
And now she's like this leading expert in blended learning models and stuff.
That's awesome. See, that's what I love about these deep dives,
Yeah.
It's not just about like job titles and stuff. It's about the actual people and their stories and like how they got to where they are.
100%. And speaking of journeys, RoleCatcher doesn't shy away from the challenges either. Like burnout is a big one in this field.
Oh, yeah, for sure. My sister, she's a high school English teacher, and man, she went through it a few years ago. Just like the emotional toll of trying to reach every single student.
Yeah.
And then all the demands and pressure and everything, It's tough.
It is. It's a really demanding job, both like intellectually and emotionally. And RoleCatcher really emphasizes how important continuous learning is for these folks. It's not even just about staying up to date with the latest research. It's about self-care, too. Like, you got to find ways to recharge and avoid burnout.
So it's like they're teaching themselves how to avoid burnout while they're teaching others how to teach. Whoa, that's meta. But really, though, like, how do they even find the time for all that learning? I mean, between the research and the teaching and the mentoring and everything else, it's not like they're just sitting around with tons of free time.
It takes serious dedication and a real love for the field, you know. RoleCatcher mentions that a lot of these education studies, lectures, they're drawn to the profession because of their own experiences. Like, they had some amazing teacher who, like, changed their life or whatever, and they want to do the same for others, you know. Give back, pay it forward.
Yeah.
It's about empowering future educators with the tools and the knowledge to really make a difference, you know?
Yeah, it's like this whole pay it forward thing with education.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, but speaking of the future of education, RoleCatcher brought up this whole thing about technology. Like, how is all this AI stuff going to change what education studies lecturers need to be teaching?
Oh, man, yeah. That's the million-dollar question right now.
Right. It's like, how do you even prepare for a future where, like, half the teachers might be robots or something?
It's wild. We're talking about a potential paradigm shift in education, and these lecturers are right there on the front lines.
Totally. And it's kind of freaking me out a little, to be honest.
I get it.
Like, what happens to that whole human connection thing we were just talking about? Can AI really inspire students the way a passionate teacher can?
That's the big debate, right? And what's interesting is RoleCatcher doesn't necessarily see it as like a robots versus humans kind of thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're more about empowering teachers with technology, not replacing them altogether.
Okay, so more like giving teachers superpowers.
Exactly. Imagine lecturers training teachers on how to use AI ethically in the classroom. How to create these mind-blowing virtual reality field trips.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Sign me up for that ancient Rome field trip.
Right. It's a whole new world of possibilities.
It's like we're not just adding a new chapter to the education story, we're writing a whole new book.
Exactly. And that brings us back to you, dear listener.
Oh, yeah.
Because this isn't just some abstract thing. This is about the future of learning, whether you're a student, a parent, or just someone who cares about education.
Is it true?
The teachers who are going to shape the next generation, they're being trained right now by these education studies lecturers.
Wow, they've got a big job.
They do. And if you're interested in learning more about this whole world, RoleCatcher recommends checking out organizations like ISTET, that's the International Society for Technology in Education, and WFTEA, the World Federation of Teacher Education Associations.
Okay, I have to check this out.
Yeah, they're doing some really fascinating work on this whole intersection of technology and pedagogy.
Awesome. Well, this deep dive has been enlightening, to say the least. A little bit scary, honestly, thinking about all that AI stuff.
Right.
But mostly really, really fascinating. So thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of education studies lecturers. These are the people shaping the minds of tomorrow. And who knows? Maybe some of them are even training the robots that'll be teaching our kids one day. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing. And remember, learning is a lifelong adventure. So don't be afraid to explore the unknown.